Hello there my music lovers, I am George from Audiophile-Heaven and today we are having a look at FiiO's BTR5, or what I would call the latest Bluetooth amplifier. So this is a Bluetooth DAC / amplifier for headphones and for portables, including EMs, but I think that the biggest surprise here is that it also works with headphones, even the largest, heaviest, hardest to drive headphones on the market. FiiO prices this at $130, which is a very fair price for the performance of the FiiO BTR5. Now, when I say a very fair price, I am comparing it to other products like players and other Bluetooth amplifiers, including FiiO's own. This is the BTR3K. This just arrived, and I don't know about you, but I am pretty enthusiastic about something that looks this small. So this is the BTR3K compared to my hand, and at natural size, I mean at my head level, this is about the size that it has, which is really small. Now, if you like tiny things with a lot of power, you love FiiO's BTR5, which has been raved about by other reviewers, and everyone in the world probably told you to get one and to get rid of your smartphone, your USB Type-C dongles and of everything else, just use BTR5. It also comes with some disadvantages, which I will talk about in this video. It is not perfect, but it is pretty darn close to perfection. And I am really happy about FiiO's improvements lately. I think that FiiO are getting better and better with their products. Now, the BTR5 comes in this package. Inside the package, you can find the BTR module, which is this one, in this little baggy thing. This is how it looks like in person. It is quite beautiful. It has a glass front and it comes with this carrying case applied. The carrying case is awesome if you want to clip it to your shirt. You can take phone calls with it. So clipping it to your shirt is actually a very good idea because you'll have very good call quality. The person on the other end will hear you very well, and it looks pretty non-intrusive. Almost brings back that interesting fashion where people had like pens clipped to their shirt and such, the more office casual kind of fashion. Now inside the package you can also find a little box with some accessories and FiiO's own manuals. Now the manuals for BTR5 are pretty all-inclusive. They tell you how to use it, how to get it in pairing mode, and a few things about the abilities of the device. Now, inside the package, you will find a little charging cable, which is in Type-C format, and more paperwork for the BTR5. Now, as I promised, this will be an interesting review because I am probably going to be one of the very few persons which will also talk about the disadvantages of the BTR5, because a lot of people have been raving about the advantages of owning one, and I discovered a few short backs and a few shortcomings of the BTR5. To be honest, up to this point, I think it is perfect for what it is, for a little Bluetooth module which will connect to your smartphone. Like my Xiaomi Mi Max 3, it will connect to it flawlessly. It uses the LDAC codec, also aptX HD or aptX low latency, or just aptX. It has also the lower SBC codec, which has a lower overall quality than the aptX. But anyways, it will connect to your smartphone without an issue. You will have the entirety of your music collection at your fingertips, and since this is not a music player, you don't have to rely on their slower than smartphones interfaces. Now, to turn it on, you have to press the power button, which is here. The biggest surprise I had was that this little thing also has a little display, and I'm a really big fan of this. It tells you that it wants to connect to your smartphone, like this one. Just so you need to enable the Bluetooth connection. For it to connect, you go to Bluetooth, and most smartphones will see it immediately and they will connect directly with your BTR5. like here. Now it is connected and it is set at the loudest volume, which is 60. One thing I have noticed about BTR5 while using it is that it has a separate volume from your smartphone. So you can set it at the loudest volume, but your smartphone will also have its own volume control. This is actually convenient because you can use it at its maximum quality, but you can send the signal at a lower volume. Because it has a DAC chip inside, that it also has a Bluetooth receiver chip inside. If you are lowering the volume from your source, you are going to lower the quality of your music. So I would actually recommend leaving your smartphone at maximum volume and using the volume of the BTR5 to configure your listening volume. At maximum, it can drive HiFi Deva. Deva is drivable by its own Bluetooth dongle as well, with which it comes, but I feel that it has better actual sonic quality with the tiny BTR5. BTR5 will drive every single EM on this planet, and it has enough power for most headphones, even for planar magnetic headphones. It has more power on the balanced port, which is a 2.5mm port, than it has on the single and the 3.5mm port. If you are going to drive hard to drive headphones, or if you want the best quality you can get from it, I recommend using the balanced connector. Now, in actual practice, other things I should probably mention about it are that it sounds a bit warm. It has an elevated bass. It is not absolutely neutral, but compared to something like the Earman Trump, which is this one, or the Earman Transportable Amplifier, I think that BTR5 has a much more colored sound. The warmth that BTR5 has is much more noticeable than the one in Trump, which is pretty neutral. The Trump has more detail, more dynamics, and more punch, but it's $300 compared to $130 for the BTR5. FiiO also released the tiny BTR3K, which is even smaller than BTR5. You can see the size difference here. And the comparison between the two is that BTR3K has less driving power, BTR5 has more driving power, BTR3K is even more colored, has a warmer sound, BTR5 has a more balanced and more neutral sound. BTR5 has probably the widest soundstage you can get at $130. There is nothing that has a wider soundstage, and the soundstage is stellar. It is wide, it is huge. It has excellent dynamics, excellent punch, and excellent control over every single EM you can connect it to. BTR5, regardless, even if you are using the LDAC, it still has that Bluetooth algorithm going on, and with metal music, with rock music, it is audible. I can tell whether I'm using it in paired mode or in wired mode. So if you are going to use the Bluetooth connection, you are going to lose some quality, some detail, some refinement from your music. Your music is going to sound different when it is Bluetooth than when it is wired, and even it sounds better wired. And that is the best thing about the BTR5. You can use it wired, and I love that because I'm actually much more of a fan of connecting an OTG cable to my smartphone and using a full cable to BTR5 and using it wired than using it on its intended purpose, which is using it as a Bluetooth device. As a Bluetooth receiver, I think that it does a stellar job. It is probably the best on the market. If I'm not mistaken, I will be looking to review more Bluetooth modules. But if you are going to use Bluetooth, you should know that Bluetooth doesn't sound quite as good as wired. It will never do. Bluetooth always cuts some signal from your music. It will always simplify your music, and if you listen to very complex music, especially orchestral or music with a lot of detail, music that is supposed to sound very detailed, music that has a lot of information about the sound stage, about everything that was going on in the background, it will going to erase that information, and that is pretty audible. It also erases some of textures, music sounds simpler, and music just lacks some of the more interesting information inside. Music is still very dynamic, very punchy, and for pop, for EDM, or for electronic, the BTR5 will sound just as good on Bluetooth as it will sound on wired. Now for metal, for orchestral, for symphonic, even for some Japanese music, it is going to sound better on wired than it is going to sound Bluetooth. This is not a shortcoming of BTR5. Every single device will do that. It is a shortcoming of Bluetooth in general, which I think you should be aware of. You should not expect it to sound just as good as a wired device, because it won't. There are players that will sound better than it. Even FiiO is releasing an M3 new type of player, or M3 Pro as it is called, and that is going to be probably better than BTR5 if both are used wired. I'm going to do a review on the M3 Pro very soon, and I think that will be a very interesting one because it is very affordable, and at the same time FiiO has flaunted some very amazing specifications for it. Now, I thank you for watching this video. Please smash that like button if you like this video. Also press subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I hope you have a lovely week in there, and we will see each other soon. Bye bye.